All right, so you're getting ready for that big asset manager interview.
Yeah, a lot of people are looking for these jobs. Tough to get.
Definitely. So we're diving into this article from Indeed.com.
Oh, they got good stuff.
They do, and it's like perfectly made for you. It's got all these questions they might ask.
You know, a lot of the same ones pop up in a lot of these interviews.
For sure, so it's good to be prepared.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Okay, so the article is broken up pretty nicely, actually. They start with general questions,
Yeah.
and just get you talking.
Like get a feel for you?
Yeah, then they go into the experience ones, really dig into your background.
Show them that you've done, how you've used your skills.
Exactly. And then, oh boy, they hit you with the in-depth questions.
Those are the ones that make you think.
Yeah, they do. And the whole point is, do you really understand this stuff?
Can you think on your feet?
Right. And like, they even give you some sample answers, which is pretty cool.
I mean, helpful, but yeah, got to make them your own.
Definitely. Okay, so like, you ready to dive in? Let's do it.
Right.
Okay. So, one of these questions they give. Okay. It says, if you could only use one report to gauge a company's performance, what would it be?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's tricky.
I thought so too.
Makes you think.
It does, because, like, there's so many.
It's not about, like, the right answer, really. It's more about how you think.
Mm.
You know, what do you focus on when you look at a company? What are your priorities?
Ooh, like, what matters to me as, the potential asset manager.
Yeah, and how you analyze. Like if you say the balance sheet.
Right.
Well, that tells them something about your investment style, right?
Yep.
Maybe you're more of a value
I
investor.
see.
But if you pick the income statement, maybe you're all about growth potential.
So it's
Yeah.
like a subtle way to show them you match their approach?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, have you done your homework on us? You know, what do we do here? What kind of firm are we?
Okay. I mean, that's way more than just picking a report.
Right. It's the reasoning behind it.
So much strategy behind it. Okay, so let's get into some of those general
This
questions.
is those icebreakers.
Right. Okay, like the classic one, why do you want to be an asset manager?
Got to have a good answer ready for that one.
I bet. But then they throw in this one, what is cheaper, debt or equity?
Ooh, interesting.
Seems pretty basic, but I bet, there's more to it.
You got to know your stuff.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, debt, you got interest rates, those are usually lower.
Right.
But equity, that's about ownership. You got to give those investors a return.
Right.
So was it cheaper? It's not that simple.
No, not really.
What do you think?
Well, like on the surface, debt seems cheaper.
Yeah.
Because those interest rates are lower than what equity holders usually want.
Yeah, that's the easy answer. But think about the risk.
Oh, yeah.
Debt, you got to pay that interest no matter what.
Even if the company's not doing great.
Exactly. Equity is more flexible.
But, yeah, more expensive maybe in the long run.
Could be, it depends. So it's really about
Weighing everything.
exactly trade-offs. That's what they're listening for. Can you see the whole picture?
So even a simple question can be like a test.
It is. They're seeing how you think.
Okay, another one from this section. What is your daily routine?
Daily routine.
I wouldn't think that has anything to do with managing assets.
Oh, it does.
It does.
It's about how you manage yourself.
yourself.
Yeah, your time, being organized.
Yeah.
Asset managers, they're juggling a lot. Clients, markets.
Right.
Do you have a system? Are you on top of things?
So it's like showcasing those organizational skills.
Exactly. Show them you're proactive. You got a plan.
So I don't just like list my tasks, wake up, coffee, emails.
No, it's about how you structure your day to get things done.
Got it. But like, what if I'm not really a structured person?
That's okay. Just be honest.
Oh.
But you got to show them, how you still manage everything.
Ah.
Whatever your style is, show them it works.
Got it.
That's the key.
Okay, those are some pretty interesting general questions.
They're not as easy as they seem.
No, they're not. Okay, now let's get into the experience-based questions.
This is where you shine. Show them what you've got.
Right. They ask about, like, your background in finance, if you have any asset management experience. But then there's this one. Tell us about a time you used your persuasion skills.
Ooh, persuasion. That's a good one.
Yeah, I don't usually think of that as, like, a finance skill.
But it is. Think about it. You got to convince clients to trust you, to follow your advice.
Right.
You're always communicating complex ideas, getting them to see your vision.
So how do you even, like, answer a question like that? Is it just a story about, convincing someone of something?
It's more than just a story. There's a good way to structure it. Use the STAR method.
STAR.
Stands for situation, task, action, result.
Okay, so break that down for me.
Okay, so situation. Describe the specific time you needed to persuade someone.
Okay, got it.
Then the task.
Right.
What were you trying to convince them to do?
Right.
Then action. What did you actually do to persuade them? And finally, result. What happened? Were you successful?
So, like if they said, tell me about a time you had to persuade a hesitant client to diversify their portfolio, what would that look like?
Perfect example. You say, okay, well, I had this client. They were really hesitant to diversify.
Right.
They were, all in on this one thing, very risky.
Right.
So my task was to show them, how diversification could actually lower their risk
Makes sense.
and potentially, increase their returns.
Right. Right.
So my action, I presented them with, historical data, showed them examples of, what could happen if they don't diversify. And then I tailored my communication to their specific concerns
I see.
because every client's different.
Makes sense. And then the result?
Well, they agreed to diversify.
Wow.
And, it led to a more balanced portfolio.
Yeah.
And they were, happier in the long run.
That's a great example.
See, you're not just bragging. You're showing how your persuasion skills actually, help the client.
Right, right. And for each of these experience questions, it's about connecting your past experience to this job.
Exactly. How does that story show you're the right person for this asset manager role?
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. All right, so now we get to the scary ones.
The in-depth questions.
Yes. These are like designed to make you sweat a little.
A little bit, but it's about seeing if you can handle the pressure.
Oh, yeah, because in the real world, things get tough.
They do. So they want to see how you think. Do you know your stuff?
Okay, so like that one report question we talked about earlier.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of these, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because, there's no perfect answer. It depends on, what you value.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, if you're interviewing in a firm that's all about, value investing, well, you might pick the balance sheet.
Because it shows the company's assets, like what it's really worth.
Exactly. You're showing them you get their approach.
Yeah.
But if you're interviewing at a growth-focused firm, maybe you pick the income statement because that's all about, future potential.
I see. So it's really about, aligning your answer with their style.
Yeah, you got to show them you're on the same page.
Okay. That is a good tip.
It is. You got to do your research on the firm,
Right.
know what they're all about.
Okay. I mean, that one question just got, 10 times harder.
Yeah, but that's the game.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so what are some other reports they might be looking for? I need a refresher on, financial statements.
All right, so you got your income statement. That's like your basic report card.
Yeah.
Shows how much money the company's making, over a certain time.
Right, right.
Then you get the balance sheet. That's like a snapshot in time.
Snapshot.
Yeah, shows what the company owns, what it owes, gives you a sense of its financial structure.
Got it.
And then you got the statement of cash flows.
Oh, yeah. Cash is king, right?
It is. This statement shows how the cash is moving in and out of the company. So you get a sense of, their liquidity.
Like, can they pay their bills?
Yeah, exactly.
So each one tells a different story.
It does. And they all have their limitations.
Right.
So when you pick that one report, got to justify your choice. Show them you understand, the whole picture.
This is making me rethink, those simple questions.
They're all about showing how you think.
Exactly. Okay, what are some other, brain-bending questions they throw in here?
Well, they might ask you, how would you inform clients if we didn't beat the stock market in a given year?
Oh, ouch. That's a tough one.
It is, but it's real life.
Right.
Sometimes you got to deliver bad news.
And no one wants to hear that their investments, aren't doing great.
Exactly. So they're looking for, can you handle those tough conversations?
Makes sense.
Are you transparent? Can you explain things clearly? Can you, reassure clients?
It's about more than just the numbers.
It is. It's about communication, building trust.
Okay, so what else? What other tough questions?
They might ask, how do you evaluate and manage risk?
Yeah. Risk is a big part of, everything in finance, right?
It is. You got to understand it, measure it, manage it.
So I got to show them, I know how to deal with risks.
Yeah. What frameworks do you use? What tools? How do you apply them in real situations?
Okay. I'm getting the sense that, preparation is key here.
Absolutely.
It's not just about knowing the answers.
It's about knowing how to think.
Exactly. How to analyze these, complex situations.
Because in the real world, there's not always a clear answer.
Right. So you got to show them you can think critically.
That's the point of these questions.
Okay, we've covered a lot. We've looked at, the general questions, the experience ones, and now these in-depth questions. But, the Indeed article also gives some sample answers.
That's helpful.
Right, but are they like, cheat codes? Should we just memorize them?
Well, they're helpful, but like you can't just use them word for word.
Right, you got to make them your own.
Yeah. Think of them as a starting point, like a framework.
Okay, so let's pick one and see how we can make it better. What about how would you go about valuing a company?
Ooh, that's a classic.
It is,
Yeah.
and they give a sample answer. Let me see. It says they'd use discounted cash flow analysis
DCF.
and comparable company analysis.
Yeah, those are like the standard methods.
Right, but it just feels kind of like textbooky.
It does. It's missing, the personal touch.
Yeah, like how can our listener make this answer stand out?
Well, first, have you actually used these methods?
Like in real life?
Yeah. If so, talk about it.
Oh, like walk them through the process.
Exactly. Show them you know how to do it, not just talk about it.
And maybe even mention like a specific company they've analyzed.
Even better. Makes it real.
Mm.
Did you make a good investment decision based on your analysis?
Right. Or, what challenges did you face? How did you, overcome them?
Those are the details that make you memorable.
Yeah, they show you can actually do the work.
Exactly. Not just, memorize definitions.
Okay, let's look at another one. For what are some methods you use to eliminate errors in your work?
Ooh, important one.
It is. They talk about double checking everything.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and doing different types of analysis. But it's all pretty general, right?
It is. You got to be more specific.
Like, what systems do I actually use?
Yeah. Like, do you have a checklist?
A checklist.
Do you use any specific software? Do you have a, review process with your team?
Ah, okay.
Give them concrete examples.
It shows you're, detail-oriented.
And that you take, accuracy seriously.
Yeah, right. Okay, now this one always trips people up. How do you develop relationships with clients?
Oh, yeah. It's all about the people skills.
They say, get to know them personally, understand their goals, communicate regularly, but it just feels kind of generic.
Like a script.
It's missing that, that human element.
Right. So how do I make it, more real?
Well, what makes you a good relationship builder? Are you a good listener?
Yeah, I think so.
Can you explain, complicated financial stuff in a way that, normal people understand?
Ah, that's important.
It is. Do you build trust by, actually delivering on your promises?
Those are all important qualities. And, different clients need different things, right?
Exactly. Some people need a lot of hand-holding.
Right.
Others just want to, see the numbers.
So I got to be adaptable.
Show them you can connect with, all kinds of people.
Makes sense. Okay, let's see. What else is in here? This one is tough. What do you think your biggest challenge will be in this role?
Oh, interesting.
Right. The sample answer talks about staying up to date on market trends.
It's definitely a challenge.
Yeah. Things change so fast, but maybe there's a more, insightful way to answer it. Instead of just, stating the obvious, talk about something you really want to improve on.
Oh, like personally?
Yeah. Like to your presentation skills or, your knowledge of a specific type of investment.
Or like my data analysis skills.
Exactly. It shows you're self-aware
Hmm.
and that you're, always learning.
I like that. It's honest. And it shows, I'm not perfect,
Right. No one's perfect.
but I want to keep getting better.
That's what they want to hear.
And it kind of subtly shows, I'm thinking about the future of the industry too.
It does. You're aware of the trends. You're thinking ahead.
Okay, I'm seeing a pattern here. It's not about giving the, perfect answer.
It's about showing who you are.
Exactly. My experience, my passion, why I want to do this job.
It's about connecting with them on a human level.
Yeah. It's like they want to see if they'd actually like working with me.
That's a big part of it.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the answers, but how you say it matters too, right?
Big time.
It's not just what you say, it's how you say it.
You got to practice out loud.
Oh, actually rehearse.
Yeah. Get comfortable talking about these things.
Makes sense.
And pay attention to your body language. Make eye contact. Sit up straight.
Project confidence,
Exactly.
but also be yourself.
Yes. Find that balance. You're professional, but you're also, a real person.
Right. They want to see that personality.
Because, asset management, it's not just about numbers.
It's about people.
Exactly. So show them you're someone they'd want to, work with every day.
I like that. Okay, so remember, the Indeed article has a ton more sample questions and answers.
Lots to go through.
Yeah. Go check it out. Use what we talked about to make them your own, and really showcase your strengths.
You got this.
All right. Before we move on, there's one more sample answer I want to look at.
Oh, yeah. Which one?
This one is for what do you think the future looks like for the market?
Ooh, big picture stuff.
It is.
Yeah.
And they give some general trends, which is helpful, but...
But you got to remember, things change fast.
Right, right.
So that article is a good starting point.
Then I got to do my own research, too.
Yeah, stay up to date, read the news, look at the economic indicators.
So I'm not talking about, last year's news.
Exactly. Things move quickly.
Got it.
You got to show them you're on top of it.
Okay. I think we've given our listener, a really good foundation for this interview, right?
We have. We covered a lot.
We talked about, the general questions, how to showcase your experience, those tricky, in-depth ones, even looked at some sample answers, and really emphasized that it's about, being authentic.
Being yourself.
Yeah. And preparing, really being ready.
And communicating clearly. It all matters.
It does. But there's one final piece of advice I want to share. The most important thing to remember when you walk into that interview.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
It's simple. Be confident.
Yeah.
You've done the work. You're passionate about this. You've got the skills.
Let them see that. Don't be afraid to shine.
I love that. And, it's not just about them choosing you, right? It's about you choosing them, too.
Exactly. It's a two-way street.
So ask good questions. Get a feel for the company, the role, see if it's the right fit.
Trust your gut.
No,
if it doesn't feel right, it probably isn't.
Right. Okay, so the Indeed article, it focuses on the interview itself, but let's zoom out a little bit. What do you think the future looks like for asset management?
Ooh, that's a big question.
It is. What trends are shaping the industry?
Well, one thing that's been happening is the rise of passive investing.
Passive, like index funds?
Yeah, and ETFs.
Yeah.
They're getting super popular.
Right, right. They're everywhere.
And it makes you wonder, what's the role of active management now?
Yeah. Are they becoming, obsolete?
I don't think so. I mean, both approaches have their pros and cons.
Right, right.
Passive, it's low cost, good for diversification. But active, that's where you could potentially beat the market.
Okay, so it's about knowing, when to use each one.
Exactly. It's about having the right tools for the job.
And for your clients' needs.
Yeah, knowing your clients is key.
What other trends are you seeing?
Another big one is sustainable investing.
Oh, yeah. Impact investing. That's huge now.
People want to invest in things that, align with their values.
Makes sense. It's not just about the money anymore.
It's about making a difference. And it's driving a lot of innovation, new investment products, new strategies.
That's exciting. Okay, so we can't talk about the future without talking about technology, right?
Yeah.
AI, machine learning, all that stuff. It's transforming everything.
It is, but I don't think it's about replacing humans completely.
Right.
It's about collaboration.
Ah, like working together.
Exactly. AI can analyze tons of data, find patterns, help us make better decisions.
But we still need that human touch.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
To build relationships with clients, understand their needs, give them personalized advice.
So it's about, combining the best of both worlds.
That's the future. Humans and technology working together.
Okay, so we've talked about the interview, the trends, but for someone just starting out in this field, what advice would you give them?
Never stop learning.
Oh, yeah. Lifelong learning. That's key in any field, right?
It is, but especially in this one. Things change so fast. So be curious, stay informed, be adaptable, build a solid foundation in finance, but don't forget about technology.
Right. Got to keep up with the times.
And communication skills are huge.
Yeah.
Being able to explain complex things clearly.
To clients, to colleagues, everyone.
Exactly. And you got to understand, global markets. It's a global world now.
Right, right. So it's about being more than just a numbers person.
It is. You got to be well-rounded.
Okay. And don't forget, at the end of the day, asset management is about helping people.
Yeah, helping them reach their financial goals.
Right. Whether it's planning for retirement, saving for college, whatever it is, it's about making a difference in people's lives.
It's a privilege to do this work.
It is. Okay, so we've covered a lot in this deep dive. We prepped you for that interview, talked about the future of the industry, even gave some career advice. But before we go, I want to leave you with one final thought. In a world that's constantly changing, what makes you stand out? What are your unique skills, your passions? What do you bring to the table? Think about that. Find your strengths, embrace who you are, and let your passion for finance guide you.
The future is bright. Good luck in your interview. And remember, never stop learning.
And that's it for our deep dive.